Hey guys, this is Arun,
And this is Abby.
and welcome back to a brand new episode of Fill Your Pockets. Today's episode, August the 25th, a Wednesday. Quick recap of yesterday's games. We had two plays that we posted on our IG page. We had two straight money line picks. We had the Tampa Bay and the Dodgers. The Tampa Bay Rays ended up beating the Philadelphia Phillies 3-1. And the Dodgers also ended up beating the San Diego Padres 5-2. Um, So for the season, we're looking good, 23 and 17, 3 and 0, I believe, for the week. So this week we got it going. Hopefully we could keep it going today on this Wednesday. But Abhishek, quick recap of yesterday's games. We won both of our plays yesterday, the money line picks. What's your thoughts on yesterday's plays, man?
Yep, Arun summed it up great. So, 23 and 17, 3 days. We were coming off 3 straight losing days, and now we have 3 straight winning days. And we posted on our page that that's how it goes. Don't knock the hustle.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it goes. You're gonna win, you're gonna lose. All you gotta do is, how everyone said, stay in the green, and we are definitely in the green right now. So, Rays and Phillies was the first game. Great pitching by both teams. Props to the Phillies. Ranger Suarez was phenomenal. Same thing with Drew Rasmussen. I apologize if I'm getting his name wrong. He was phenomenal too. Both pitchers were keeping their teams in the game. It was a 1-1 game. But then the bullpen came in, and the Phillies bullpen, listen, you can't trust them. You can't trust them. Archie Bradley comes in, and immediately Tampa Bay biting at the bit. They're like, okay, here we go. Nelson Cruz, one of my favorite all-time players ever. I think he's 40 years old. Still, in my opinion, one of the top 5 hitters in baseball. Comes in, nails a double deep into center field, and 2-run double, and that was it. 3-1. That was the game. And the Phillies continue to struggle to score. Scored 1 run. I understand the Tampa Bay Rays are one of the best pitching staff maybe in baseball. One of the, if not the best. But still, man, to keep struggling, you're at home, 1 run you score, bro. It's not looking too good in Philly for the postseason as of right now. Then we get to LA versus the Padres. This was the primetime game, ESPN game. Obviously, before the season, these two teams were hyped up. Oh, it's gonna be a battle between them. And then San Francisco told the Padres, "Sit down, little boy. Sit down. Let us take over. We got 80 wins. You're at 68. You're not even coming close to us." But the LA Dodgers, they were 3-7 against the Padres early in the season, and then they realized that that's a completely different team than what we got going on right now. They don't even got Mookie Betts right now, and still the LA Dodgers are just killing it. 5-2 yesterday. Dodgers win. Also, props to the Padres. They did do a great job pitching in this game, as did the Dodgers. We yesterday when we were recording, we even said we had no idea who was pitching, and it ended up being a complete bullpen game. They used every single reliever they had. Like, they were taking turns, 1 inning, maybe 2 innings max, and they did their job for the most part. But then finally, in the seventh inning and eighth inning, they scored 2 runs each, made it 5-1, and that was it. The Padres, they just can't. They're just not playing good. We went over this yesterday. They fired their pitching coach. I have no idea what the point of that was. You're scapegoating a man for no reason. He's not going to help them score. To be honest, the pitching was pretty damn good. Yes, the Dodgers scored 5 runs, but for the first 7 innings, it was 1-1, and you couldn't do shit. I mean, it was 1-0, actually, and you couldn't score at all, even with all the players you have. So the Padres, their struggles continue, as does the Phillies. We don't care, because all we care about is winning money, and that's what we did. Tremendous value both ways, and we'll take that gladly.
All right. With that being said, let's get today's episode started. We are going to be previewing four games for today's episode. First game of the night. It's a 7 o'clock Eastern time game. Once again, we're going to be going over this game. The Rays taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. The Rays in this matchup for tonight are the underdogs. You can get them at plus 115 value on DraftKings. Phillies will be the favorites in tonight's matchup, minus 135 in tonight's matchup. Um, Abhishek, first game of the slate, man. Rays taking on the Phillies once again. Who you got?
Yep. Obviously, we picked the Rays yesterday. And today, this is very, very intriguing, in my opinion. The Phillies are favored. They have their ace, one of the best pitchers in baseball this season, in Zach Wheeler. At home, he pitches way better at home than he does on the road. And for the Rays, you have Ryan Yarbrough. He was on the COVID list. He came off of it last week. I understand he pitched against the Orioles, but he was struggling against the Orioles, to be honest, this season. But he gave out 5 inning shutout. So maybe he found something while he was on the COVID list, in my opinion. Maybe, maybe not. But still, he is a lefty. We get into the Rays. They're 7-3 in the last 10, 14-6 in the last 20. As I mentioned, Yarbrough, he's going to be the pitcher today, starting pitcher. I don't know how long he goes, maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe 6 innings. They do have Colin McHugh and a couple other guys still ready to go for the bullpen, best relief pitching in baseball. So we know the Rays are going to be ready to go. And just all in all, the Rays are just playing fantastic. They're just doing what they do for the past 2-3 years. Last year they were in the World Series. This year, even though they don't have the pitching they had last year, the superstar names, they're just doing it again. They're actually scoring more than they did last year. And what else? The Yankees. I think the Yankees doing what they're doing, winning 11 straight, winning yesterday again, even though it was a very, very tough game. Yankees winning 11 straight. I think the Rays are paying attention because now they legitimately have a race for the division title. You got the Rays and the Yankees. I don't think the Red Sox are in this anymore. The Red Sox are just holding and praying they can win the wild card spot. So the Rays got to keep winning. They can't take the foot off the gas. They know the Yankees, they're hot, and we play them at the end of the season. So they have to have in my opinion, a decent lead on them. So that way they win the division. They don't have to play in the wild card game. Then we get to the Phillies, as I mentioned. Zach Wheeler, he's pitching. I guess you can feel pretty damn good that he's pitching, but I can't imagine Zach Wheeler pitching any better than Ranger Suarez did yesterday. Ranger Suarez yesterday, lefty, 6 innings. I think he went 6 2/3. So he almost pitched 7 full innings, gave up 1 run, and I don't know what more you can ask for unless Zach Wheeler shuts them out. That's the best case scenario you would imagine. But the Phillies, all in all, 3-7 their last 10. The teams they beat were the Padres, who have been awful, and I think they beat the Reds one time. So the Phillies, after that, we keep mentioning it, after that so-called winning streak they had, they've fallen back down to earth because this is who they really are. They have a superstar in Bryce Harper. They got the best catcher in baseball in Real Muto. They have a couple other good, solid pieces, but they just don't have enough. And Philly, man, and Philly, Arun, you are Eagles fan.
Oh man.
But Philly baseball is the same shit. If you suck, if you fuck up, they will give you hell. And the Phillies have been spending a lot of money. They spent a lot of money on Harper. They spent a lot of money on Real Muto. They spent a lot of money on Zach Wheeler. They've spent a lot of money. Where are the results? And there's nowhere to be found. And I think it continues. And Wheeler, in general, he has been fantastic for them this season. But in his last 2 starts, he has been pretty damn bad, especially for him. It's pretty shocking, to be honest, because they haven't been against dominant teams. He's given up 10 runs over his last 2 starts. That's awful for him. He gave up 4 runs against the Diamondbacks. That's not something that he should be doing, in my opinion. I think the team's performance is rubbing off on him. I think it's the pressure's getting to him, possibly, that if I don't shut this team out, we may not win. It's getting that bad. So right now the line is Phillies, minus 130?
Minus 135, yeah.
Minus 135. So listen, I'm leaning for this game. I think the Rays, because the Phillies couldn't have pitched any better yesterday, and they still lost. So best case scenario, Zach Wheeler does the same thing. 1 run, possibly 2, 3. Yarbrough, he's not as good as Drew Rasmussen, but the Phillies struggle against lefties. Yarbrough is a lefty. He's had moments this season. The Rays' offense is significantly better than the Phillies. And listen, plus 115, I'm leaning towards that. But also the run line, plus 1.5 at minus 170, minus 150. If you can get it under minus 170 at plus 1.5, I think that is very, very encouraging and enticing, in my opinion. That's why stay tuned for IG, Instagram. We give out our final plays. But for right now, that's the review for this game.
All right, moving on to the second game of our slate. We got another 7 o'clock Eastern time game. We got the Angels taking on the Orioles. Right now, the Angels are currently leading the season series 4-0. The odds for this game are a little, a little invaluable, if you could ask me. The Angels actually opened up at minus 160 now, minus 225. So this line has moved a lot. The Orioles are obviously the favorites, plus 185 for tonight's game. The Orioles have been stinking up the joint for the last month or so. They're on a crazy losing streak, so 19-game losing streak. And what's the record again, Abhishek, for the
There
most?
are.
23?
Say again, Arun. You asked for the record.
Yeah, what's their record again?
Their record is 38-86.
Well, no, what's the record for the most losing?
Oh, the most
Yeah,
losses in
streak
MLB history straight is 23.
23, and they're on 19 right now.
So
So,
they need four more losses to tie.
yeah, man.
Four more
Abhishek, so who
losses.
you got, man? Angels taking on the Orioles,
Listen,
second game
I
of the
think the
night.
world. I don't think I need to review this game. I think everyone. I think a 5-year-old can review this game. I'll be honest. Um, bruh, you got Showtime Otani. Showtime must. If there's a player in baseball that's must see, it is this man. And the Orioles, we don't even know who's pitching for them today. I don't think it matters. They have nobody. John Means is their best guy, and he is struggling himself. So at this point, whoever if they bring up somebody, or I don't know who they're going to start, we'll find out later tonight. Probably right now it's 11 Eastern here in Jersey. But regardless, listen, man, 19th. I thought the Orioles were going to win. I thought yesterday they had a good opportunity of winning yesterday, and they gave up 14 runs. Jesus Christ, that game was over before it started. That game was, I think it was 8-0 or something. Like, it was pretty crazy in the first 3 innings. So I don't know what to say, to be honest. I don't think I'm breaking news here. The Orioles suck. I didn't think they were this bad. They basically, Arun just said it. They haven't won in a month. That's insane. You haven't won a game in a month, and you play almost every day. So 19 straight losses. That's the most losses in a row since 2005, the Royals. 16 years. And I think it's only going to get worse. I get no pleasure in saying this. The Orioles, man. Plus, also, this line was at minus 160. I was drooling. Minus 160 with Showtime pitching? I'm like, bro, you got to be kidding me. Especially, I don't care who's pitching for any team against the Orioles right now. It is a mismatch. I think they're defeated. Obviously, they know their season is over. But, and you never want to see this because you don't want anyone to deal with this type of losing. They've been losing for a minute now. I think it's been like, 4 years now? 4 or 5 years now that they've been pretty bad. So, but this is like rock bottom. Every year people question, how much worse is it going to get? Well, I think this is rock bottom for the Orioles. And they've been pretty bad the last couple seasons. So, we get into the Angels now. They're 5-5 in their last 10, 10-10 in their last 20. They're a 500 team. That's basically what they are. They've had so many injuries. Obviously, the best player in the world before Showtime showed up, Mike Trout, he hasn't played in 3 months, 2-3 months. They lost Walsh for a minute. He's come back. And Anthony Rendon, their big free agent acquisition, a $200 million man. He's out for the season. So they've missed him. They've missed Mike Trout, but they're still a decent team. And obviously the best player in the world is still there, and he's pitching. He likely will be hitting as well. So I expect him to put on a show, as he's been doing. 3.1 ERA in his last 7, giving up 3 runs per start. But that actually is pretty deceiving because 7 starts ago, he was awful against the Yankees. Awful, dreadful. But after that start, he has been flawless, nearly flawless. He's won his last 4 starts and hasn't given up more than 2 runs in any of his last 6 starts. The worst start he had was where he gave up 2 runs. That's about it. So, with not knowing who the Baltimore pitcher is going to be, I don't think it matters. The Angels are going to score. They still have plenty of offense. They have the best player in baseball. minus 180, minus 120, minus 220, whatever it is. Run line minus 130, minus 1.5. Whatever way you can pick this game, please do yourself a favor and do it.
All right, moving on to the third game of our slate. We got the Giants taking on the Mets, another 7 o'clock Eastern time game. Right now, San Francisco leads the season series 3-1. They just played yesterday, and San Francisco beat them 8-0. But for today's game, the odds, San Francisco are the underdogs plus 100, Mets minus 120 favorites. Abby, third game of the night, Giants taking on the Mets. Who you got?
The value game of the day. I have no idea what the hell these people are doing with these odds. Obviously, Vegas is smarter than I am, but still, I'm a little bit concerned because obviously Vegas, they make millions, billions, etc. from people. But in my opinion, this should be way towards Giants. What the hell have the Mets proven to be a favorite in any game against a team as good as the Giants, the best team in baseball right now, 81 wins. They just dogged them 8-0 yesterday. And they actually had a pitching advantage yesterday, in my opinion, and they got dogged 8-0. So let's get into it. We have Johnny Cueto, the veteran. He's coming off of an injury, I'm pretty sure. So he probably won't pitch that much, maybe 4 or 5 innings max, probably. We don't know. We got Taijuan Walker for the Mets. We're going to get into him. These numbers are alarming, so let's get into it. I am salivating at these numbers. They're beautiful. Let's get into it. San Francisco, 7-3 in the last 10. What more can you say? The Giants are just, Giants, 81 wins. Best season they've had in a long time. Unexpected season. But these guys are just balling. Johnny Cueto, as I mentioned, he'll be back from injury. His numbers against the Mets have been fantastic in his career. In his last 5 starts against the Mets, his ERA is 1.8, less than 2 runs per start. And another benefit for this Giants team is since they won 8-0 yesterday, they didn't have to use any of their big boys from the relief pitching. None of them. They didn't use Taylor Rogers. They didn't have to use McGee. They didn't have to use, what's his name? Leon. They didn't have to use Garcia. They didn't have to use Watson. They didn't have to use any of those guys. So if Johnny Cueto only goes 3 innings, 4 innings, or even if somehow he struggles, they can come in and hang on to the lead or make them battle back. Worst case scenario, in my opinion. Now we get to the Mets. Oh my God, that them being on top of the division seems like eons ago. It feels like it's been 5 years since they were actually winning this division, so-called. They were frauds from the start, in my opinion. Whoever was watching baseball and watching the Mets knew that was not sustainable. They were winning games 1-0, 2-0, 3-2, 3-1. That's not sustainable. And now we finally realize, everyone gets to realize how awful this Mets team is. They're 2-8 in their last 10 games. They've been awful. They cannot score. In their last 10 games, they've scored 6 runs plus 1 time. The one time they did it was in a 12-inning game. So these boys cannot score. And now we get into the pitching. Taijuan Walker, who was fantastic to start the season, and then something happened where it's just going downhill since then. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he's not used to pitching so much in a season. He hasn't pitched that many innings in his career, but it's something, and they're gonna have to figure it out maybe in the offseason. But for right now, we're gonna take advantage of this shit. Taijuan Walker, 7.5 ERA in his last 7, giving up nearly 7 runs per start in his last 7 games. His last 7 starts, all 7 L's. The Mets have lost all 7 of them. You're going up against the best team in baseball. How the hell are they favored? I don't care. I'm not going to argue with Vegas or whoever makes these lines. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Giants here. I think this is the best value for today, in my opinion.
All right, moving on to the last game of our slate. It's a 10 o'clock Eastern time game. Dodgers taking on
again.
Primetime game on ESPN. Dodgers taking on the Padres. They just played yesterday. Dodgers got the better of them. Right now, San Diego's still leading the season series 7-4. The odds for this game: Dodgers minus 145 on DraftKings. San Diego plus 125 for tonight's game. Abhishek, last game of tonight, Dodgers taking on the Padres. Who you got?
As I mentioned earlier, Showtime Otani is must-see TV. If there's a man in second place, that's Walker Buehler for the Dodgers. This man is a magician at pitching. Got a baby face, but his game is he got a man's game. This man is a deadly pitcher. The Dodgers, all in all, 9-1 in the last 10. They know we got to win the division. The Giants are balling, but we're 2 games back. It's right there for the taking for us, and we're getting healthy at the right time. 16-4 in the last 20. Walker Buehler, 1.5 ERA, last 7 starts. Complete dominance. Complete dominance. In his last 7 starts, he's gone minimum 6 innings. Most of the time, he goes 7 innings. So he is giving you pitches, he is giving you innings, and he is giving you production where he has not allowed more than 2 runs in any of those starts that he's pitched in. He's pitched against the Padres twice this season already. He's in 13 innings, which is basically 6.5 innings per start if we were to do the average. He's given up 4 runs. So 2 runs per start. Not bad at all. And that was against the Padres team that was actually winning games. This Padres team is just sucking, just losing. So now we get to the Padres, 2-8 in the last 10, 8-12 in the last 20. I don't know what's going on with this team. I understand they have some pitching injuries, but pitching injuries does not mean you can't hit, you can't score runs. So who are they going to fire their hitting coach next because they can't score? Tatis is making $300 million. Machado is making $300 million. They got Cronenworth, who is one of the best players in baseball. Adam Frazier, they traded for him. Tommy Pham, they traded for him. They got all these dudes making all this money and all these accolades for what? And that's something that they have to look in the mirror and figure out because the season is coming down. They are 1 game behind Cincinnati for the playoff spot, so it's still right. If they can correct their errors, they can still make the playoffs and maybe accomplish something this season. They got Blake Snell pitching for them. Obviously, he is way better at home than on the road. I think just pitching-wise for the Padres, Blake Snell gives them a chance. The problem is this team just cannot score. They're not scoring. And another thing is Blake Snell, even though he has been pretty damn good recently, he's looking normal, back to his normal self. The problem is, out of his last 7 starts, only 2 times was he able to go past 5 innings. So he's throwing a lot of pitches within the first 5 innings, and then they got to take him out, and then they got to put the relievers in. So Walker Buehler, you can trust him. Walker Buehler going 6-7 innings at least. Blake Snell, he may give you 4, he may give you 5. The likelihood of him giving you anything above 5 is very slim based off of the numbers and the track record. So the Padres yesterday, they used all their relievers. So could they be tired? Possibly. And the Dodgers just got to see all of them, so they are familiar with them. So at minus 140 odds value, primetime game, Dodgers, they ballin', Padres, they fallin'. If you're going to pick a team here, I don't know how you can go with the Dodgers.
All right, guys, that wraps it up for today's episode. 4 games on today's episode. Make sure you tune into the IG page for the final picks and the final say. That being said, hope you guys have a lovely Wednesday and happy gambling. Peace out.